to touch the ground. All these old memories seem loud, 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 loud. Yeah, up in the clouds, yeah. Smoke feels so loud, yeah. Every time I'm up, I don't go down, yeah. That's what we are, that's what we are. I don't wanna come down, I don't wanna come down. We are, I don't wanna come down. Smoke feels so loud, yeah. Every time I'm up, I don't go down, yeah. Up, I don't go down, up, I don't go down. Baby, take it slow. Every time I'm up, I don't go down, yeah. Up, I don't go down. Up, I don't go down. Yeah, you're pushing in my shirt, run it back like reverse. See you at my concert, but so sweet like dessert. Cut you off, yeah, I'm curt. I don't wanna come down. I don't wanna come down. I don't wanna come down. I don't wanna go. I don't wanna go.
To understand my story and to understand my why, the best way is to talk about the major theme that continues to cycle through my life, which is transformation. And that's what you'll find so much in the pages of the book. And transformation, the first big transformation that I had was when I was 19 years old and I was serving a 4-year prison sentence. And, you know, a lot of times people might look at me and say, how did someone like me end up in prison? And to understand that, I have to go back further in time, which is when I was a child and I had my first trauma, which kind of created the transformation. The trauma created the transformation, which is so beautifully, disturbingly ironic. Basically, when I was 8 or 9 years old, I was sexually abused for several years. And when I grew up a few years later into being a teenager and I became conscious of what had happened to me, I was so ashamed. I was like, oh God, no one can ever find this out. And so I never told anybody. I was in denial that it was a part of my reality, and I just shoved it away as far as I could. But at the same time of trying to ignore it, it was this growing monster, and I started lashing out in so many ways. I was extremely out of control rebellious. I am still rebellious, and I pride myself on being rebellious still, but there's a wise woman in the rebellion now, as before I was just like this chaotic, lost girl. And so I was abusing drugs and alcohol, I was stealing, I was skipping school, failing classes, lying to my mother, who was single at the time, and just up against this ruthless, rebellious teenager. So that eventually came crashing down. And I was driving drunk. I blacked out. I crossed the paved median and I hit another car head on. And there happened to be another 16-year-old girl in that car, and she didn't make it home that night. So as a result, I was sentenced to 4 years in prison. And little did I know that was actually the chrysalis of my transformation. And that wouldn't have happened, I think, without my mother, because she was like just my savior in that time. She would come see me twice a month, drive up to the prison and teach me about manifesting and intention and therapeutic benefits of journaling and the power that I actually possess. And she didn't say, you don't have to be out of control, but just thinking about it now, like, I was so out of control, and she was like kind of showing me, hey, look, you have so much power within you. Let me kind of show you what you don't know yet. And so she would bring me books, and we would sit there for hours and just talk about, you know, how I could put this into practice in my jail cell, just sitting there watching the sunrise and just writing gratitude, pages of gratitude, like, what can I be grateful for now? So being in that prison, it forced me to be sober. It forced me to stop running from this monster that I had just shoved away. It forced me to face the truth of what I had been through as a child. It was for the first time I had to actually sit still and think about my actions and think about how I was affecting people and the world around me. Nothing was going to stop me. I was just like unstoppable. And so it was like I had to be confined. And so over years of healing, I started to learn that as I spoke my truth and as I shared it with my brother, my mother, my counselors, I started to feel that burden lift and leave. And I was like, oh, okay, people can love me and accept me, and I don't have to carry the shame around anymore. So all this healing and forgiving began to happen. Then a few years later, so I had done so much healing and so much self-work, and about 4 years after I got out of prison, I started teaching yoga. I got into a yoga teacher training, and I taught yoga for many years, and that was also a huge part of my healing journey. And then I got married, and as I was married, it was when I had built up my name for teaching yoga and teaching retreats and workshops. And when my marriage came to an end, I knew I needed to change my name, because if I took my maiden name, it was connected to all my felonies. And I didn't want people to find me. Like, if you Google my legal name, you'll have mugshots and news stories pop up, because it was really publicized. I was like, I have to change my name. But I didn't know what that name was going to be, but I knew I needed a new identity to kind of continue building. And so I prayed and I waited and I was searching, and I didn't really know what the name was going to be. And at the time, I had a mentor of mine call me Naga Lakshmi Devi, which is a Hindu goddess. And the name Naga stuck. I was like, that's it. That's my name. And so over, the years, it was like, okay, Naga is the name. And Naga has so many different translations depending on where you are in the world. And in Hindu, it translates to serpent. And so the serpent has such incredible symbolism of transformation and renewal. It symbolizes the Kundalini rising, which is also spiritual awakening. So that really resonated for what I was going through. So then, with Naga Rising, it's about the feminine rising. It's about the woman going through transformation. It's about the phoenix rising. That's why Naga Rising was born.
Ladies and gentlemen, Naga Rising.
Woman, do not let them restrain you. For your beauty is the very seed in which inspiration grows. For your laughter is the divine playing and manifesting itself through you. bringing joy to all who hear. For your dancing is the very expression that births pure bliss. For your body is so enchanting that the world runs to you in hopes of getting a taste of it. Woman, your love conquers all. Its power is so great no mountain nor ocean could stand in the way of taking delight in you. Your wisdom brings enlightenment to the entire earth. Woman, you are magic. You bleed 7 consecutive days a month and live. You birth life. You are the source of creation. Woman, do not let them restrain you. Let yourself be seen, be wild, be free. I was like, okay, the photos were like telling me I need to be bigger than a thumbnail. Like, you need to blow me up life size. And I was like, okay, if you're not going to be a thumbnail, then I have to put you on paper. So, okay, I got to make a book. And I had this vision of what the book was going to look like inside and how I was going to lay it out. But then I was like, I need to put something else with the photos. Like, I wanted it to be more than just a picture book. And so I was like, okay, well, put your story in there. So I had writings already that, like, I had songs I had written. I had letters from, heartbreaks that I never sent. And I had passages that I had just written. And so I decided to put those in the book. And then I had to write a little bit more also to fill the pages of the book. So the photos were really like the driving force for it. I always love this part because when I tell my story at the signings, it trickles down to that, right? Where it's more than just a book of nudes. It's more than just even my story. It's about being the inspiration for you to also, what I like to say is, turn your shit into gold. And that no matter what you've been through, it doesn't define who you are today or what you can become. And I'm your testament for that. Like, the only person that gets in our way is ourselves.